welcome back to Farming Simulator and another Maizeplus video. And this one is about hay, or making hay, or really about tedding. Tedding in Maizeplus and FS22 is either much simpler than FS19 or much more complicated, and that comes down to whether you understand the two diagrams that are in the Maizeplus PDF or not. And I'm going to put them both up on the screen now, and if you understand them, then it's really simple, and if you don't understand them, it's probably really complex. So I'm going to go through all of the options of once you've mown your grass, and that depends whether you mow your grass with a conditioner or without, then each of the tedding options and what they give you, and then where you can go from there, why you might want to do the different tedding options, and eventually how you end up with hay. So I've got a rather nice voucher here with a set of the Potinger mowers on there. I am indeed sitting the wrong way around in the tractor just to confuse myself. So we're going to unfold all of the mowers, and to start off with, I am going to start without the conditioners on. So if you look in the F1 menu, it says conditioner switch on. So that means if you press the Z or Z key, you will switch the conditioner on. So that means the conditioner is currently off. So if we now mow, we will get fresh grass. So if I turn the mowers on and lower them down, and we will do some mowing. I am on, for those that are wondering, the horse map. And I've happened to pick the biggest field on the horse map. So I'm not going to mow the whole field, obviously, because it is huge. But what I wanted to do is be able to give myself a fairly large area of grass where I could just mow a few test patches, and we could do some different things with them. So that's what I'm going to do. So from fresh grass, you can ted to pretty much everything possible that you can achieve with grass. So you can, but you cannot use all of the tedding states. So, and go through those once we get the tedder up. But you can ted to conditioned grass, grass conditioned. You can ted to semi-dry grass, and you can ted to hay. And I'll go through each of the options once we've mown a little bit of grass as to which each one gives you. Now, why would you want to mow to condition to the ted to the different things? Sorry. So a lot of that depends on your play style. So you may want to always mow with a conditioner on, if that's how you want to play. If you play a more realistic style, and maybe you're using a mower that wouldn't traditionally have a conditioner, you may choose to not put the conditioner on. And then again, depending on how you choose to play, you might want to roleplay that you need to ted your grass several times to achieve getting hay. So you might choose to ted to conditioned or semi-dry as an intermediate step on the way to getting hay. You don't need to. You can go straight from fresh grass straight through to hay in a single step if you wish. And as I show you some of the intermediate states, you can also go backwards. Why would you want to do that? Again, if you're the kind of person who likes to roleplay situations, maybe if you're a content creator, and it rained on your hay that was drying overnight, and maybe you tedded it to semi-dry and it rained, maybe you want to off camera ted it back to conditioned grass to show that it had picked up moisture, that kind of thing. So yeah, we'll get this little patch of grass mown, and this will allow us to show most things. I will do a patch of conditioned grass as well, just to show you how that behaves, because there is a slight difference going from conditioned grass. So let's lift the mowers up, and I'll just come over here, and we'll pick a fresh patch. So if you open your F1 menu up, we will press Z to turn the conditioner on. We need to do it for both mowers. Very important that you do it for all of the mowers that are attached to your equipment. We will lower down, and you will see now that we are getting conditioned grass coming off. And this is the same fill type as you get in base game. So you may find, if you're playing with certain mods that are incompatible with Maizeplus, when you do things with conditioned grass, you get things like whole crop silage when you bale it. That's because whatever you're using is not compatible with Maizeplus, and it's being turned into silage rather than grass silage. Yeah, so I'll get this patch mowed, and then I'll come back when we're doing some tedding. Mowing done. We have our 2 patches of mown grass. We have our fresh grass here, and we have the conditioned grass off in the distance. And I have just a base game Vicon tedder. All standard tedders will work the same. So if we go into the F1 menu, you'll see that we have tedder stage there against the Y key, and it says base game. I'm going to cycle through the options, and I'll explain how it's going to behave depending on where we are. So for conditioned grass, the base game function will have no effect because it's not recognized. So if I turn it on here and lower down, nothing will happen. That is correct. That is correct behavior with Maizeplus and the tedder. If we go over to the conditioned grass, then base game behavior for conditioned grass, which remember is base game grass fill type, this will take this straight to hay. There we go. We have some hay on the ground. So back to our patch of fresh grass. The next option we have for tedder mode is conditioned grass. So if we then turn the tedder on and lower down, we can go conditioned grass, lower down, and our fresh grass goes to conditioned grass. So we'll ted a chunk of this into conditioned grass, because I want to be able to demonstrate a few things as we go through. So let's just run down here, and we will then spin around and go back up the other way. And we are actually going to go through the edge up here. Okay, so that's a nice patch of conditioned grass. And then you will see we can, if we really wanted to, turn our hay back into conditioned grass. Why you would want to do this, it's totally up to you. Maybe you had a field of hay and it got rained on, but you can indeed go back from conditioned grass, from hay to conditioned grass, using that mode of the tedder. So, and I'll try and put some diagrams up on the screen now. So with the base game tedding mode, I'm not sure of the best way to show this actually to you. So for fresh grass, base game doesn't have an effect. For conditioned grass, base game goes to hay. With fresh grass, the conditioned grass mode gives you conditioned grass. Obviously on conditioned grass mode doesn't do anything. Next, we will select semi-dry. So if we have semi-dry mode selected, we can ted our conditioned grass into semi-dry grass. And if you watched my video last week on making grass silage, if you're doing bales, I would recommend that you ted your grass to semi-dry grass to make grass silage bales, because that lets you get more dry matter in and the bales are lighter when you're handling them. And again, if we just clip the edge of the hay, you'll see we can turn that back into semi-dry grass. And then if we go down here, if I run along the edge of this, you'll see that we can turn either the conditioned or the fresh grass straight to semi-dry grass. So the last stage that you can pick is hay. So what I'm going to do now is drive down this strip. So we've got semi-dry grass and fresh grass here. So if I turn this on, both of these will convert into hay. So in this field now, and we're going to do a bit of a checkerboard test in a moment. So in this field now, we have strips of fresh grass, conditioned grass, semi-dry grass, and hay. And now I'm going to do now is go the other way across the field with all of the tedding modes, and we'll see what happens. Because that's every combination. And that should give you an indication then of what happens for each condition. And I'll then try and put a picture up above on the screen of what's happening as we go. So hopefully I've got enough room to do this. So if I start here, and we'll put it in to base game mode initially, so this will have no effect on the fresh grass. Remember, the conditioned grass will go to hay, no effect on the semi-dry grass, and then the hay will stay as hay. That makes sense, doesn't it? Hay stays as hay. The two Maizeplus fill types are not recognized by that mode of the tedder. So let's lift up. Let's select conditioned as our next option. And let's leave a little gap so we can see what's going on. And in this case, we will be turning everything back to or forwards to conditioned grass. So, and again, why would you want to do this? Depending on where you are, either you want to condition your fresh grass, or maybe for some kind of roleplay aspect as you're playing the game. We've then got semi-dry grass, and again, with the way this works, we will change every option that we have on the field to semi-dry grass. So, see, that affects all states. So you can go backwards and forwards between the different options, and then the last one being hay. And there we go. So, and then obviously once you've done your whole process, you can then windrow it up and collect it, because hay is just the base game hay fill type, so that will behave as base game hay. So you can bale it, you can collect it with a forage wagon, you can put it in a hay shed, however you want to do it. So if I can get in the right spot on here, we can talk about how all of these behave in one go, and I can try and highlight them as I talk about them if I can get them all on the screen. There we go. And if I do, let me just use F12 to get rid of the HUD. And then as I talk, I'll try and do it in the editor. So first strip that we had was using the base game tedding option that has no effect on fresh grass, so that is grass mown without the conditioner. Conditioned grass, it turns straight to hay. Semi-dry grass, it has no effect. Hay, it leaves as hay. We then had the strip where I had the tedder on the conditioned grass mode, and everything gets turned into conditioned grass. So fresh grass goes to conditioned grass stays as conditioned grass, semi-dry grass and hay go back to conditioned grass, so you can ted backwards and forwards. Then we had the strip, which is just to the right of the tractor, where I had it in semi-dry mode, and again everything goes to semi-dry grass, so the fresh grass, the conditioned grass, the semi-dry grass obviously stays as semi-dry grass, and the hay goes backwards to semi-dry. And then the last one where we had it on hay, and you can ted straight from fresh grass to hay in one step all the way through. Why do you need these options? As I said, if you're playing purely mechanically, you could choose to mow with or without the conditioner and go straight to hay. That has no effect on how much hay you get, which process you take. They are all a straight 1-to-1 conversion. So there's no yield benefit from, mowing as fresh grass, tedding to conditioned grass, tedding to semi-dry grass, tedding to hay. You don't gain more going that way. You get the same amount. It's about giving you gameplay options. It's about if you want to roleplay the fact that you've got an old mower, it doesn't have a conditioner, so you only get fresh grass, and then, you're in a damp climate, so you've got to ted it more than once to get to hay. All that kind of thing. Likewise, if you're someone who likes to role play and you see you've got rain in the forecast and it rains on your semi-dry grass or your hay before you get it baled, you can ted it backwards and you've got to do it again. All those kind of things. Something that I've done in one of my series is I would mow to conditioned grass. I would ted to semi-dry grass on camera, and then, spoiling the movie magic, overnight off camera I ted to hay to simulate the process of real FS19 seasons of hay drying overnight, because I really missed that feature, so I would simulate it in the videos as I produce them. And this allows you to do that with those extra tedding stages. This was an attempt to answer a question to a community post that I made about tutorials people would like to see in Maizeplus. Hopefully this has helped explain those diagrams in the Maizeplus PDF and the way tedding works and how you can make hay in Maizeplus. Once you've got to hay, it's the same as base game. So windrow it, bale it, forage wagon it, however you want to deal with it, it's the same. That's up to you. So that's why I've not covered that. The bit that's different with Maizeplus is the mowing and the tedding. So yeah. If you've got any other Maizeplus questions that you'd like to see answered, stick them below. If you're using Maizeplus and you like it and you haven't, don't forget to go rate it on ModHub. If you really like it and you want to help out the team, there are some links below. If you've got questions, there's links to the Maizeplus Discord. Use those below. And yeah. Also, click the like button. And I will see you guys next time.